Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface with emergency ads number 13. Unlucky for some, not for me, because yesterday I hit 70,000 subscribers, which was absolutely unbelievable. So thank you so much to every single solitary person out there that supports me, supports my channel, that is subscribed to this channel. Not the ones who aren't. I subscribe to this channel, and just the fact that you support me with what I do, and the fact that you support the fact that I have an opinion, and I wish to get an opinion out there, and of course, that's possibly one of the most dangerous things that you can do on the internet. Number one, log on. Number two, have an opinion. So for everybody, every single solitary one of you, again, big hugs, big thanks, big love. I could only do this with your support, so it's all down to you. A little bit of me. Right, so let's get into the crux of it. Emergency ads videos, raw reactionary type of videos where I respond to breaking news within gaming. Kind of focuses around the World of Warcraft because Blizz like to do a lot of dumb stuff recently. But today I'm actually preempting. Never mind breaking news, I'm preempting some news. Don't worry, it's not like something's going to smash tomorrow. But tomorrow, which is September the 30th, is actually the final day of Q3 for the World of Warcraft. This is going to be the break-off point for their figures for that quarter. So that's going to include July, August, September. Now, 2015 so far has been an annus horribilis for the World of Warcraft. It has been an absolutely terrible year, a year to forget as quickly as possible for them, as we've seen a decline in their subscription numbers by, 45% in the last 6 months, from January to the end of June. So, I want to discuss Q3's figures. We're not going to find out what they are until beginning of November time, but I want to kind of like have a quick discussion about what we should expect, what I think they're going to potentially be, and then we can get into it from there. So, has anything actually happened in Q3 to precipitate any change? Well, I want to take us quickly back, because emergency ads videos, boom, boom, boom. I want to take us quickly back to Q2, and when they announced the figures for Q2, which were just despicable. But when they announced the figures for Q2, what they said was, and the way that they sort of phrased it was they're very ambiguous with a lot of their phrasing. But they said 6.2, patch 6.2 had sort of stemmed the flow of losses. So from that, we can clearly kind of get the idea that there were huge losses, and then when 6.2 came out, there were some losses still. Now, that's not a good thing, because if you're bringing out what you're touting as potentially the biggest patch that the World of Warcraft has ever released, and it's actually not particularly good, and you're still losing subscribers because of it, that's not good news. If we just sort of put that side by side with 5.2, when Mr. Pandaria was in a similar situation as regards to losing heavy numbers, nothing like Warlords, but my goodness, we thought they were massive at the time. 5.2 came along and literally prevented the loss of any more. It was that powerful. It was just like, whoa, this is actually good content, 5.2. People got on board with that content, and it actually stopped the loss of figures. Obviously due to the fact that they didn't really support it too much after that, because they threw everything into year one, and then year two, meh. Who needs content in a whole 14 months? Yeah. Then it would have just automatically, by default, start to lose more people. So, is there anything in Q3 which is significant that we can determine any changes? Well, if we look at July, which is the first month of this quarter, no. No, there isn't. People will get to grips with 6.2. They would have played 6.2 a little bit more. Would they got more out of 6.2? less likely. If they were already losing subscribers, even in a fewer numbers, based on the release of 6.2, the longer it goes on, logically speaking, the more people are just going to start to go away from the game anyway. So I think we would have seen more losses in July, and probably of a slightly higher level since the release of 6.2. Because it wasn't great, it wasn't received great by a lot of people, and I don't think there was particularly enough there to keep people interested if they were sort of hanging on for dear life, hoping that 6.2 might be that big change. But something happened in August which could be a potential game changer. And on the 6th of August, they announced Legion, the next World of Warcraft expansion. I was quite shocked that they did this at Gamescom. I really thought that they were going to wait till BlizzCon to do this, but no. And although I was surprised, you can understand why. The losses that they'd had this year were so huge, they needed to put some good feelers out there. They needed to put some good news out there that would hopefully buoy the community, get the community excited in the product again, get the community supporting Blizzard once more. So yes, logically speaking, it did make sense to announce it at Gamescom, and hopefully that would be a preventative tactic. Not only a preventative tactic, but if people liked what they heard with Legion, then it might actually inspire them to resubscribe to the game. I think that happened. I think, because even me, the most cynical of people at the moment with the World of Warcraft, and the vast majority of it down to Warlords of Draenor and how they've handled Warlords of Draenor and how they've communicated with us throughout Warlords of Draenor, just been all over the place and finding them so disingenuous at the moment. Even I, with listening to Legion, was kind of like, meh, you know, I'm not going to get on the hype train, but this sounds like there are some good ideas here. I like the idea of the order halls. Artifact weapons could go either way with me, but always nice to see a new continent. Like the idea of the Broken Isles, like the idea of a lot of Night Elf architecture going there, the complete sort of breakaway from orcs. You know, forget all that kind of shite. We're going to get something a little bit different. Getting off Draenor in itself is going to be a beauty as well, because that was just waste of time. So yes, even the most staunch of cynics like myself looked at Legion and were like, yeah, you know, okay, you know, I obviously want more information and I want to taste the cake before I purchase, because I definitely want to get involved in the beta testing process, see if it's any good, you know, if Blizzard will let me. Whether it is or not is a completely different kettle of fish, but if they have faith in their product, then they shouldn't have any problem whatsoever, should they now? So yeah, I think there were quite a few people that jumped on board the hype train. I do think there were a lot of people that said, you know, ooh, Legion looks exciting, Burning Legion, invading Azeroth, yeah, woo, Ashbringers for everybody, and all that kind of stuff, and I think there was a decent amount of people that resubscribed. The problem is, when you resubscribe, you're not playing Legion. You're still playing Warlords of Draenor and you're still playing 6.2. So what would be quite interesting is the fact that we also have September in this month. So if people resubscribe due to the power of the Legion announcement, which I will highlight once more, I do think that a lot of people did. Would they stay on the game? Well, I think there will be a proportion that already dropped off after the first month. They would probably have come back, done a couple of weeks of 6.2, gone, what did I do? What did I do? Nothing's changed. I'm a fool. You know, if you're that kind of person, don't berate me. Just embrace it as just a little bit of ribbing. Yeah, but I think there'll be people that are like that, like, oh god, what did I do? This isn't Legion. I need to wait till Legion, and may have unsubscribed. There will be a portion of people that will be like, okay, I need to get my character in a ready situation. Folks, I just want to tell you that's utterly irrelevant, because you will be getting a character boost to level 100 in Legion, and you might say, well, yes, but I'm not going to, that's going to be for a different character. I'm talking about my main character. It doesn't matter. Because if they've got a character boost to level 100 in Legion, it means that they have to have the opening zones and the continuing zones that are going to be able to support people who utilize that as the main character, i.e. new players to the game. And those characters that get boosted to level 100 are most likely going to have an item level of around 640, 650, most likely at best. So you getting your character beyond 650, 640... kind of redundant. Doesn't mean anything anymore. Because of the short nature of this expansion as in a progression cycle, and the fact that they have to cater for those level 100 boosts, so you're kind of just doing irrelevant stuff. Because stuff that you'll get in the opening zones of the Broken Isles will be 670, 680, maybe 660, whatever, but it'll be kind of a similar ilk to what they did with Warlords of Draenor. Doesn't diminish your fun much. But I do recall with Warlords of Draenor, I think I got to level 97 before I even changed out my first bit of equipment. And that was purely down to the fact that they had to cater for the boost characters. So it's going to be no different in Legion. So people that are still staying on Warlords of Draenor because of that reason, you're kind of wasting your time, I'm afraid. So there will be some people that are sticking around due to wanting to work on their characters. Maybe people are too lazy to unsub. There is a portion like that. You set up an automatic subscription and, you just go off and do stuff. How many people can say, I am really going to miss £10 a month? I'm going to really, really notice £10 a month coming out of my account. There is going to be some people, of course, but others, nah. That isn't going to be that much of a deal. What did this come out of my account for? Oh, yeah, well, sub. Or whichever subscription to whatever game it may be. So, come September time and come tomorrow when Q3 figures end, what do I think they're going to be approximately on? Well, I'm going to put it down to about 6.2 million. I think WoW's going to go back up to around about 6.2 million subscribers. I think it's going to have a lift of roughly 500,000. That's what I think. And I think that's a little generous. I do think that's a little generous, but I do think that people are so desperate for change, so desperate to get out of Warlords of Draenor, even the mention and a small snippet of information about a new expansion could be the impetus just to have those those elevated levels of hope, I imagine is the word I can use here, of hope for the future of the franchise. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether or not I'm right or wrong. This is why I'm doing the video now, so in 6 weeks time when we get the true numbers, was I correct, was I absolutely wrong? What I will say though, because I do like to play devil's advocate, what if they go down further? The problem is, if they go down further in Q3, then they've got BlizzCon to try and save them in Q4, but we don't know how long the testing procedure is going to go for the Legion beta. We don't know a release date. We don't know any of that. So people just might not be attracted to sign back up. They might not be attracted to sign back up until Legion is physically released, and I think that's going to be May, June, April, towards the end of April at the very earliest of next year. So yeah, Q3, if they are continuing to fall, so if they fall from 5.6 mil, whatever it is now, to, just for argument's sake, let's say 5 mil, they lose another 600,000. It could even go down to 5.3 mil. Even if it's a little loss of a couple of 100,000, 5.2, 3, 4 mil. It's still a drop that they don't really want. They want momentum to switch. They want momentum to go back up. I think they're going to announce the beta for Legion at BlizzCon. I think they're going to say people that have come to BlizzCon, you can get on our computers and play 15 minutes. When BlizzCon ends, beta starts in a week's time, whatever it may be. But I think the beta is going to start very, very quickly indeed after BlizzCon, and then we will get some tangible content. Then we will see whether or not Legion's up to much, and I think that would be a huge determining factor as to whether or not people return to the game. So Q3, but this is going ahead, and I'm going ahead now, and I don't want to go too far ahead. So yeah, if figures go down further in Q3, I don't think it spells good news for Q4 at all. I think it will be a continuing trend unless that beta for Legion is absolutely awesome, which it may be. You know, fingers crossed. I do want it to be excellent. I really want it to be excellent, because I can't handle another expansion like WoD. Seriously, I can't do it. So there we go. Emergency ads number 13. I'm going to predict 6.2 mil for Q3 figures for the World of Warcraft. A slight upturn due to Legion hype. But I hope you enjoyed the vid, and if you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe. Follow me on social media and Twitch. I'll be live streaming. Those links are in the description down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care, everybody. Bye-bye.